Let's talk about workplace injuries and what folks need to know, because we know those injuries can happen anytime and without warning.
They really can. I had the opportunity to meet with a family a couple of weeks ago who unfortunately lost a loved one on the job. People have in their heads what you're entitled to if you were to pass away in a motor vehicle collision or something else like that. We would follow our normal wrongful death laws. But if you lose your life on the job, you're not entitled to a wrongful death claim. You're still confined within the Alabama Workers' Compensation Act. And what that says you're entitled to, or in other words, your loved ones are entitled to, would be a burial fee that covers funeral expenses up to somewhere in the $6,500, $8,500 range. And then your dependents are entitled to 2/3 of your average weekly wage for 500 weeks. And minor children, potentially longer than that. So, it's not a situation where you're entitled to wrongful death proceeds unless your injury occurs through the negligence of a third party. So if you were delivering parts for an auto store and someone ran a red light and hit you, you'd be entitled to a third party case for wrongful death on top of the benefits entitled to you through the Workers' Compensation Act.
How hard, while we wait for a caller, and do let me give that number out one more time, 256-536-0077, 256-536-0077. If you'd like to have William answer any legal question you might have, go ahead and call us right now. How hard is it to prove these kind of cases? There are so many different kinds of insurance to cover different kinds of things that can happen at work and that sort of thing. So to actually prove one of these cases, is it complicated?
It can be. Generally speaking, an injury suffered on the job is going to be compensable as long as it didn't occur through horseplay or a safety rule violation or something like that, because typically in workers' comp you don't have to prove fault. Where sometimes in these death cases you end up in the legal dispute is due to the nature of the way the person passed away. So typically what we call idiopathic injuries, or injuries that come from nature or over time, like a stroke, heart attack, those type things, those typically are not going to be compensable under workers' comp unless you can prove that your work conditions contributed to that event occurring. So for example, extreme heat or something along those lines, working in a factory or a warehouse with no air conditioning, those type factors could then lead to some of those idiopathic injuries. That's typically where you're going to see the legal dispute on those types of claims. Because you're not going to have to prove necessarily that the employer was at fault.
I am assuming that a case like this can play out for quite a while. Do a lot of folks, because obviously any company is going to do their due diligence to prove the opposite if it's not just very clear how this person died. Do a lot of folks just give up on these cases? You might actually have one?
I don't think so in the context of death, but in the context of more minor injuries, certainly people do. They get frustrated with the workers' comp system because you don't get to choose your treating physician. You're at the whim of the insurance company to approve certain medical tests or certain follow-ups with different doctors. And it is an extremely frustrating process. It's not like going and treating under your normal health insurance. And so sometimes people say, you know what, look, it's just not worth it. I'm going to leave the workers' comp system and just pursue this under my health insurance instead, because I just can't, deal with the runaround and all these different things that happen. So it is a frustrating process, and I think on those more minor injuries, sometimes people are deterred by just the nature of what you have to go through.
And I do believe we have a call right now, William. David, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead, David, with your question.
Okay, I would like to know what the state law reads on a section line easement, what the requirements are.
That I don't have memorized off the top of my head. My understanding would be that it can vary from county to county with regards to that, but if you want to give me a call at the office, I'd be happy to look those up for you.
And William, we thank you so much for being with us on this Monday. We always look forward to Law Call, and so do our viewers. If you didn't get your question answered today, remember you can always call our friends over at Timberlake and League. William himself may just take your call. But anyway, also you can call us here on Mondays, every Monday during Way 31 News Midday. We'll be right back.